there's an odd rule when it comes to computing the modified adjusted gross income limits on the ability to make a Roth IRA contribution. Hi, this is financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So you're probably familiar with the Roth IRA, and they offer tax-free growth. For the year 2023, workers can contribute up to $6,500 into a Roth IRA. That number goes to $7,500 if you're 50 or older. However, Congress has imposed a modified adjusted gross income limit on the ability to make those contributions. For 2023, the limit is between $138,000 and $153,000 of modified adjusted gross income, and it is $218,000 to $228,000 if one is married filing joint. And I'll link to the IRS website on those MAGI limits in the show description. But it's interesting. One has to figure out, well, how the heck do we define modified adjusted gross income? And there's a real quirk. The rule says that modified adjusted gross income for this purpose does not include income created by Roth conversions. This is a really interesting rule because think about it. If you took a taxable distribution from a 401k or a traditional IRA and it's taxable to you, that does create modified adjusted gross income for this purpose. It increases your income and it could disqualify you from the ability to make an annual Roth IRA contribution. Well, okay, if we take a regular distribution, that creates MAGI for this purpose. But if we do a Roth conversion of the exact same amount, it doesn't create a penny of MAGI for this purpose. Why the heck might that be? And it actually has to do with how Roth IRAs were created by Congress back in the year 1997. And I'm going to link a blog post that goes into all this gory detail. But what happened is back then in the year 1997, there were two Roth IRA features that had MAGI limits. One was this ability to make an annual contribution, and the second was the ability to do a Roth conversion itself. Back in 1997, they imposed a strict $100,000 MAGI limit. If your AGI or your MAGI was above that $100,000, guess what? No Roth conversions. Now that changed in the year 2006. We'll talk about that in a sec. But then they said, well, okay, we have these MAGI limits. Well, how the heck do we define MAGI for this purpose? And they started with a traditional approach, which is let's find another definition in the Internal Revenue Code already, so we don't have to recreate the wheel. And that's what they did. They went to the MAGI rules for the ability to contribute to a deductible traditional IRA. So that's where they started. But that wasn't good enough for Roth conversions because of a circular definition problem, right? If they just took the traditional IRA deductibility MAGI rule, well, then guess what? Roth conversions would be tested against themselves. It's a circular definition, so they didn't want to do that. So they said, well, okay, let's back out Roth conversions. And then the issue was, well, do we do that for both? And maybe they never even thought this through, but they just said, well, okay, we have a new rule, IRC section 408 cap A. That's where the Roth IRA is found. And they decided, look, we're just going to create one definition of MAGI for this purpose, and it's going to cover both applications, both the ability to do a Roth conversion, which it had to because you can't test something against itself, right? And the ability to make an annual Roth IRA contribution. Well, let's fast forward to 2006. Guess what? They repealed the MAGI limit on the ability to do Roth conversions starting in the year 2010. That opened up the backdoor Roth IRA, and they didn't revisit the definition of MAGI for annual contribution purposes. So this weird quirk of the tax rules still exists to this day, where you can create $1 billion of Roth conversion income and in theory still qualify for an annual Roth IRA contribution. And while we're on this subject of MAGI limitations on the ability to make a Roth IRA contribution, can I say it again? I think Congress should repeal that outright. All right, because here's the thing. it's a $6,500, $7,500 year 2023 annual Roth IRA contribution. Why do we need an income limit protecting that? Right? An NFL quarterback can max out their 401k at work, $22,500, whether it's traditional or Roth. They make millions of dollars. There's no income limit on that number. Why does there need to be an income limit on a much more modest number? I think it's time for Congress to repeal that. And oh, by the way, that would align us with our neighbors to the north. Canada has an analog to the Roth IRA. It's called a tax-free savings account. And guess what? There's no income limit in Canada on the ability to contribute to a tax-free savings account. Here's something we should borrow from our neighbors to the north and repeal the MAGI limitation on the ability to make a Roth IRA annual contribution. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.